So the next thing I want to think about is the dimensions for the front pushrod suspension. And so I'm sketching this in on a 2D sketch, but I ended up making a ton of adjustments from that 2D sketch, primarily because I needed clearance for the steering and I needed clearance for the rest of the upper and lower control arm hardware. But that line moving up and down represents the pushrod, and I still have to figure out how I'm going to mount it and how it's going to pivot. So I'm starting by creating a shape at an angle in this new component, which is the pushrod pivot arm. And really the only constraints here is that it has to capture the shock hardware and it has to interface with a torsion bar. And the rest of this shape is pretty simple. It's just an L shape. It's just an angled bracket. And so this is the first time I've designed a part where the main boss was at an angle, but the reason I did that was so that the mating planes in the car would line up with the rest of the vehicle and not have to be offset. And I also knew there was going to be some opportunities with this part to make some really cool looking pocket cutouts with draft angles using ball end mill machining operations. So that's what these cutouts are right here. Then I just need to add some radiuses on the inside sharp corners, and this part's ready to be dropped into the upper assembly. So now I'm realizing that I designed this part upside down and backwards, but luckily for me, I was just able to flip it and it ended up fitting on the correct side of the vehicle. Then I just need to adjust the pushrod mounting location to the opposite side and adjust some dimensions on the upper and lower control arm to accommodate that change. So now I'm mating that pivot arm in place in the upper assembly and figuring out the dimensions for the pushrod linkage itself. And the way to do that is just select the two components and measure the distance between their origins. And then that sets the distance for the pushrod linkages. Then I can mate that pushrod in place and test the cycling. But before I do that, I need to set a limit mate so that it doesn't overextend and the front suspension travel is set. And it looks like it's cycling really well.